We have taken a new approach on allowing users to send data back to Revit. So far, the process was to set up parameter sync rules through each model category. With the launch of automations that allow users to create autonomous workflows, we are now transferring the data sync to Revit there. In this example, I will take us through how to set up a Revit automation for updating the floor finish for all of my instruction rooms. To begin, I have created a room datasheet category where I'm tracking my room typologies for my project. In here, under my classroom element, I'm collecting various information about this room typology. By now, you know that I can use the room type text field and a lookup field to connect my classroom element to all of my instruction rooms from Revit. In case you need a refresher on that workflow, our tutorial on categories, when and how to use layer versus models is a great resource. Since I have now connected my classroom datasheet with all of my instruction rooms, I need to select what data I want to push back to Revit. For that, I will go under my rooms category. I will create a lookup field that I will name floor finish, which I will use to pull the floor finish that I'm tracking in my classroom element. This will be an automatic lookup. In order for me to create the connection, I will choose the Revit parameter name to match with the layer field room type from my room datasheets category. As a field to look up, I will choose the floor finish from the dropdown. Those are my fields from the room datasheets category. Now I can see that all of my instruction rooms have adopted the value floor finish from my classroom element that they are connected to. The next step is to set up an automation for passing data back to Revit. The automation will automatically queue up the update of the floor finish parameter for all of my instruction rooms every time this gets updated. On the left panel, I will scroll down to Automations and click on Create an Automation. I will name this Floor Finish Sync. Now I want to select a trigger. For this example, I want every time the floor finish in a classroom gets updated, to update my Revit model with the change. I will select When an element in a category is updated trigger. The category will be Rooms, and I will choose the lookup field Floor Finish. Then the action will be Update a Revit parameter. The Revit parameter will be where I want to store the value that comes from my lookup field. By typing, I can get to the floor finish parameter quickly and select. Lastly, I will select the floor finish from my layer fields. The checkbox on the bottom is verifying that I want to run the automation now to all of the rooms that apply to that rule. That will queue up the changes for Revit, but I will still need to click Sync Parameters using the Revit add-in for the values to be passed on. I will leave this checked and hit Create Automation. Now I have two ways to check from within layer any updates that are queued up for my Revit model. From within the automation itself, I can click on the Activity tab and verify that the automation is queuing up changes for the correct rooms. I can also control the parameter sync from the model options. I will click on Models, Details, and open the Parameter Sync tab. From this menu, I can see what changes have been queued up and what the incoming value is for each of them. I can also remove a parameter sync from the queue if I decide that I do not want to update the floor finish for a specific room. Lastly, from the Revit side, by clicking on the sync parameters, I can see the same changes being queued up. Once I hit Accept Changes, I can see my floor finish schedule reflecting the values for my floor finish for all of my instruction rooms.